There's a strange kind of sadness that comes when you try too hard to be noticed. You give everything, your time, your kindness, your heart, hoping someone will finally see your worth. But they don't. They scroll past your messages, ignore your presence, and act like you're invisible. That's when the voice inside starts whispering, maybe I'm not enough. Yet the truth is, the moment you start begging for attention, you begin to lose your power. Today's story will show you how silence, not noise, can make the world finally turn its head toward you. There was once a young woman named Maya who lived in a small town filled with loud people who loved to be seen, who posted every moment online, who measured their worth by likes and compliments. Maya wasn't like them. She was quiet, thoughtful, and always ready to help. But because she didn't speak loudly or boast, people often overlooked her. Her friends forgot to invite her to parties. At work, her ideas went unnoticed. Even the person she cared for the most rarely listened when she spoke. Slowly, she began to believe her silence was her weakness. One evening, Maya sat alone by the window, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and red. "Why does nobody see me?" she whispered. "What more do I have to do?" That night, she wrote a long message to her friend explaining how hurt she felt, but she never sent it. Something inside her stopped her thumb from pressing send. For the first time, she wondered if her energy was being spent in the wrong direction. The next morning, on her way to work, Maya met an old painter named Arjun, who often sat by the river creating quiet masterpieces no one seemed to notice. His paintings were beautiful, filled with life and emotion, yet there was never a crowd around him. Curious, Maya asked, "Don't you feel sad that no one appreciates your art?" The painter smiled gently. "My dear," he said, "a flower doesn't bloom so that people will clap for it. It blooms because it was born to. If someone stops to admire it, that's a blessing. But even if they don't, it still blossoms every morning." Those words settled in Maya's heart like calm rain after a storm. She realized she had been living her life like a performer on a stage, constantly hoping for applause. Every time someone ignored her, it hurt because she had given them the power to define her worth. That day, she decided to do something different, something she had never done before. She chose silence, not as punishment, but as peace. At work, when her colleagues spoke over her, she didn't raise her voice to fight for attention. She simply took her notes, refined her ideas, and sent them directly to the manager through an email with calm confidence. When her friends forgot to include her in their plans, she didn't message them asking why. Instead, she spent her evening doing something she loved, treating by candlelight, painting, and journaling. When the person she once cared about ignored her calls, she didn't chase them anymore. She quietly wished them well and redirected that love back toward herself. Weeks passed, and something began to shift. People started to notice the same woman they once overlooked. Her manager appreciated her detailed work and gave her more responsibility. One of her friends reached out, saying, "You've been so quiet lately. Feels strange not hearing from you." Even the person who once took her for granted began to message her again. But this time, Maya's heart didn't race. She didn't feel the need to prove herself anymore. Silence had given her something louder than attention. It had given her dignity. One Sunday afternoon, she returned to the river where Arjun painted. He was there, as always, surrounded by colors and stillness. She told him how life had changed. Arjun smiled without looking up from his canvas and said, "You learned the art of still water, my child. The river doesn't compete with the sea, yet it reaches it anyway." Maya realized true strength doesn't shout, it glows. It's in the calmness of those who know their value without needing validation. The people who chase attention run out of breath. The ones who stay centered draw it naturally. She thought about how often we waste energy trying to convince others of our worth, not realizing the only person who must be convinced is ourselves. In time, Maya became known for her quiet confidence. Her coworkers sought her advice. Her friends began to respect her time, and those who had once ignored her learned that silence could speak volumes. But she didn't do it for revenge or pride. She did it because she finally understood. Real power is not in being seen. It's in being unshakable even when you're not. One evening, she wrote in her journal, "I used to shout to be heard. Now, my silence echoes louder than my words ever did." She closed the notebook, smiled, and watched the same sunset that once made her feel invisible. But this time, she didn't ask why no one saw her. She simply watched, knowing that even if no one else did, the sky was still beautiful land. So was she. The next day, a new intern joined her office and seemed lost and unsure, just like Maya once was. The girl asked softly, "How do you stay so calm when people overlook you?" Maya smiled and replied, "Because I've learned that attention fades, but peace lasts. Don't chase their eyes, earn your own respect first." The intern nodded slowly, as if she'd just heard something important. And in that quiet exchange, Maya understood how powerful silence could truly be. It wasn't the absence of words, was the presence of self-worth. So, if you ever find yourself begging for attention, remember Maya's story. Remember that people who don't value you when you re-available 1T suddenly see your worth when you demand it. Step back, go silent. Let your actions, your growth, and your peace speak for you. Because silence isn't weakness, sits power under control. And when the time is right, the world will notice you not because you shouted for it, but because your silence made them listen.